There is something beautiful about taking the record out of the cover, putting it on a really nice turntable.
The cracks and the pops and the crackles.
Just sitting there and listening to it. Not jogging to it on an iPod or doing a workout at a gym or driving it, just putting on a record.
It does get you somewhere, it does take you to somewhere.
It's 2 decades and more since the obituaries were posted for music on vinyl, but reports of its death have been greatly exaggerated.
It's always been around, never completely went away, but it was a very specialist niche market there for a while. You know, your audiophiles were still buying vinyl and probably DJs, but never saw it coming back to this kind of extent now.
And that extent is remarkable. 277,000 records were sold in Australia last year, double the sales of 2013. But those numbers are minuscule compared to the glory days of the 60s and 70s. The market's worth only about $6.5 million. But despite that, there's more than a whiff of a revival in the air.
We can point to many reasons why we think people are going through a love affair with vinyl at the moment. How long that will go on for, will it completely drop away? I'd like to think not. I've got a fair bit at stake on it not completely disappearing.
Paul Rigby has put his money where his heart is and runs this pressing plant in Melbourne's inner north. The process can be fraught and is far removed from the technical certainties of the digital world, but the bands keep coming through the door.
Artists come in, they're completely stoked, you know, to be putting their stuff on vinyl. I guess I can get that a little bit, but when are people going to get tired of that? When they're going to go, gee, it's taking me this, and I had 3 test pressings, and you know, the baths, they had problems with their plating baths, and I got crackly records, and oh, you know, we've done 4 cuts and they're still no good. You know, that's a reality. Something's always waiting to fall over.
So why are musicians choosing vinyl? The 7UPs have just released an album. Hello Afro is track 1 on the A-side.
The people that really inspire us also have vinyls, and that's kind of where the sound came from, the 70s funk, which, yeah, I feel like the reason we've done it, or we've put our album on vinyl, is so that sound, we are able to replicate that sound as much as we can.
The download's a different story. It's a lot flatter. It doesn't have that sort of big, warm, open tone to it that a vinyl would.
We grew up being able to put ourselves on CD in an instant, but getting it on vinyl, it costs a lot of money, and it took like 3 months, and it just seems so much more special. We're really into the kind of vintage sound. It's kind of a big part of what we do. The way we record it, we put it straight to tape, and having it on this massive format.
You are old school, aren't you?
Yeah.
With vinyl, a lot of bands are releasing digital with their vinyl track. So if you're worried about, oh no, I don't get my download, you know, you've got that plus something to hold and, you know, cherish.
A vinyl is a way of making a trophy out of how you express yourself through music.
You're tuned to 106.7 FM.
And it's on radio that the prize of airplay comes. Indeed, many community stations explicitly promote vinyl. And with that, their announcers are rediscovering some long-lost crafts.
I get this great rush of physically getting involved with presenting. So you're not sitting in the desk and button. You're up, you're over, you're turning, you change your mind, you pick it up, you flip it over. Like there is this real dance with the vinyl that gives it that bit more of a relationship.
Theories abound as to why records are back in vogue and why people in their 20s and 30s are leading the charge.
For them who've been raised with compressed digital music, which many people in my industry say is not as good as AM radio, they hear the record, this old-fashioned bit of vinyl, and suddenly it's a revelation for them.
And that discovery of vinyl leads, inevitably, to the turntable.
It's like a meme infection. They're bought into here, not because it's been advertised, not because they've been told to come by Sony or by Apple or by a large corporation imposing its fashion values on them. They're coming because they've heard it at a friend's house, or they've seen it in a bar, or they've seen it in a record shop.
Retailers small and great are riding this wave.
It's young folk, it's old folk, it's everybody in between. Plus, we're selling far more turntables than we ever did. So that's telling us that the market's here to stay, and there's a lot of people investing in vinyl.
JB do this because there's a quid in it, and is that quid getting bigger?
Look, absolutely, it's a growing physical format, unlike CDs.
But how much more can it grow? Will a niche become something more substantial?
You feel like you haven't heard it till you've heard it on record, do you? No. You've just got to hear it on record. It's like
it's got to be on vinyl.
It's got to be.
Absolutely.
You could have downloaded it. You could listen to it on Spotify and Rhapsodies and.
That's heresy.
Really?
Yes, it's heresy.
While the true believers have no doubt, the ultimate fate of vinyl lies with those discovering the medium.
Music's lost its value with the digital age, and kind of putting it back on vinyl gives people that are really fans of music some way to spend their money and support the music.